Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, no matter where you are in the world. You know it is JJ and JJ's PC Builds. Yes, it's Friday, 5/19/2023. Just to let you know, I got this video coming out to you to let you know that we're doing some testing today. So if this is your first time here, make sure you subscribe. We're trying to work towards 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. What I mean by 4,000 watch hours, watch the videos from beginning to end, and then you'll get the idea. And that'll help us grow and help us work towards getting monetized. Okay, so, and I want to thank all the new subscribers that just, subscribe. Welcome to the family. Welcome to JJ's PC Builds family. And thank you for the subscribers that have subscribed, and thank you for being here. Okay, now we're still testing on the 4070, just to let y'all know this. So this test is going to be a little bit different. It's going to show a little bit of overclocking, but it's going to show stability as it running on baseline normal. So it's going to be a little bit back and forth, a little bit overclocking, a little bit, stability testing. And I want to see if it's going to run stable at max. That's my whole end game of this all. And then stick around until the end. We got more commentary. I'm going to let you know my final thoughts. Just stay to the end. So let's go ahead and just jump right in and get to the testing, and do enjoy them. Alrighty, what I did is I took myself out of the equation. You don't see my face or anything in the picture. So what I'm gonna do is, y'all wanted to see how can I say this? You all wanted to see me overclock this RTX 4070. We're gonna overclock it. So if it crashes, it won't be much of a big deal because we'll get back into it, but we're gonna see if it'll crash. So now that you see this up here, I'm using Tropics Demo as a run to, and we're going to run the demo. Right here. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go down here and we're going to grab MSI Afterburner and we're going to bring it up here. So we're going to go ahead and we're just going to bring it up about 10. We're going to go in about increments of 10 and see what happens. This is just the memory now. Remember this. I'm doing just the memory right now. I want to see exactly what's going to happen when I bring the memory up in 10 spots. So, oh hell, y'all ain't gonna be waiting that long. We'll just take it all the way up. Wow, that's 700 plus on MSI Afterburner. Wow. So let's take it up. Let's take it up all the way to, let's take it up to 1,000. Let's see what happens. I don't know about y'all. I don't see anything moving. That's the thing. I mean, the only thing I seen move was the megahertz on the memory. That's the only thing I seen that really moved. So, okay. Let's take it up to 200 on the core clock. And see if anything happens. Wow, I don't even see the GPU struggling at this point. You know, it says that it's running at 88 degrees Fahrenheit. And it's only 26%. Megahertz is at 2520. And it's only running 41 watts. So, I don't know. I don't think this MSI Afterburner is working. Well, let's test that theory. And if it crashes, I will be back in a moment. We're at 700 plus. Well, we made it back. Well, turns around. It did crash. It seems that, you know, it's on that, it's only going to allow you to do plus 225. And the memory clocks, you can take them all the way up to 1400. Okay. If you notice right here where it says 10,702, if you're looking right there, you can turn the memory clocks up to 1400 without having a problem. So now look at that number right there. It says 11,902. So it pushes it up in megahertz for the memory clocks. But when it comes to the core clocks, it looks like the core clocks ain't going to cut it. It won't allow you to touch the core voltage, but the power limit, you can move the power limit up if you want to get more stability. But, you know, in my impression, I wouldn't go past 100, and I wouldn't go past on the core clocks, because it doesn't seem to be changing nothing. Okay, it seems like it's just locked in one place. So, but we're going to try something else to see if we can get the clocks to come up higher. I'm sure if we take and put it back down to what it was at 200 and 200, which I'm going to do. I'm going to leave those at 200, and then I'm going to bring something else in. I'm going to bring in Furmark. So we're going to try there at Furmark. We're going to bring Furmark in and run that at the same time and check for stability. So now we got Furmark running. We got both of those running. Let's see. The clocks went up. See, now it's up to 2,900. Now it's over 2925 megahertz. Now I'm pulling I'm pulling almost 200 watts. Now I'm pulling over 200 watts, running both of those at the same time. I'll try to get these in position a little bit better for you all so you all can see it. Okay, let's pull this down a little bit. We can kind of cut some off there. And we'll pull this down a little bit for you. There we go. So the thing is this. Me running OBS and running these together, it's pulling the processor right to the max. And that's what I wanted to do, was pull it to the max. So in truth and all in all, it looks like you really don't have to you don't have to kick it up or down. You don't have to do anything. If you leave it alone as is, you know, I'm sure the more stress you put on it, the higher the clocks go up. So, and that's what I wanted to find out, if that's what the case was. So you don't have to overclock it. I'm only sitting at 127 degrees Fahrenheit, which ain't nothing, you know, it really isn't. So I'm only pulling 20% on the CPU, and I'm pulling 99% on the GPU, and I'm doing a stress test right now to see what's going to happen. Right now, we're at 53 degrees Celsius on the GPU. We're at, we're at 135 on the processor. Processor's still it's only keeping at about 20%. It's pulling 32 watts, which it's a 65 watt processor. I'm pulling 196 watts on the GPU, and so far we've been running for 2 minutes now. So we've been running for 2 minutes. I want to see what it does if it runs like this for 10 minutes. Now, y'all wanted to see its stress test? Here, this is stress testing it. I want to see if it's going to downclock, which it looks like it's doing a little bit of it, but not much. But we're still at 127 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 53 degrees C, and it looks like it's staying stable. And it's pulling 2.9 gigahertz on the GPU core. You know, I mean, I'm pulling right to its max. Okay, I'm pulling right to its max. But I don't see it pulling a lot of RAM. That's the thing. Now I got to figure out what's next that I can combine with this to pull on the GPU RAM to bring the RAM up higher. That's going to be my next little kind of thing. So as I'm sitting here thinking, what can I do to pull on that RAM to bring it up to 12 gigs? Well, I don't think there's much that we can pull on the RAM to bring it up to 12 gigs, truthfully. I don't really think there's that much that we can do to the RAM that'll pull it up to 12 gigs. You know, trust me, I'm doing everything I can to pull it up there. I am doing everything I can to pull it up there. And we're going good 4 minutes. I just want y'all to see on, the question's going to be to yourself, do I have to overclock my GPU to get it to pull what it needs to pull? And truthfully, I don't think so. I put everything back to the normal clocks. So it's actually pulling at the normal clocks. There's nothing I'm doing to overclock it because it's all back to normal. I put it all back to normal when, right to the baseline normal. And the only thing I got running high is the fans. I got the fans running at 100% because I want to see if the heat of the GPU is going to overwhelm the fans. And so far, it's not. So far, we're holding, it just went up. It's teetering between 53C and 54C. And we got a pretty good distance. Let's see how far we can go with this test. I want to see how far this can go. So this way you all can see that I'm putting it right to the wire. So with these two tests combined, we'll pull the GPU right up to its max. And it'll pull on the CPU as well. And that's what I wanted it to do. I want to see how hot it's going to get after a certain amount of time. Believe it or not, if you think about it, and I'm doing it this way, this is giving me a good idea of how much stress that you can put on this GPU. This discrete graphics card seems to be holding up. I don't know. Everybody's got me kind of worried about what they were saying. And they're trying to tell me that, that it's not a good graphics card and everything else. I don't know. We got two programs running here, and this is what I'm going to show you right here. See, now I want you all to understand something real quick while we're doing this. The thing is this, it's 12 gigs, yes, but the shared GPU memory is 31.9, so almost 32 gigs off of the RAM of the PC. Now the total that it comes out for the GPU memory will be 43.9. Okay, 43.9 gigabytes total, sharing it with the system and the VRAM. So if you pull over the 12, I have enough RAM in my PC to compensate for that. There might be a little latency, yes, do expect it if you pull over 12, but it shouldn't be enough to where it crashes the game. And I'm hoping the way I have this reset back up, to this realm, that if I do pull over 12 gigs of VRAM, that anything I pull over, it won't crash the game or anything else. It'll just slow it down just a little bit. But if it doesn't slow it down and it keeps it running normal and there's no flickers or anything else, guess what? I think I solved the problem. So having 43.9 gigabytes of RAM for your GPU, that's not bad. Not bad at all. I want y'all to keep that in mind. Because right here, you see the RAM. Right here at top. Right here. 64 gigabytes of RAM. And that hard drive right here. That hard drive right here. It's right here. It's the 14 terabyte right here. This is the M.2. So, you know, CPU, it's only pulling up, the speed's only pulling up to maybe 4.3 gigahertz running these tests. It's only got 16 megs of L3 cache. GPU, the GPU itself, I mean, it's only pulling 600 megs. Ain't that something? Pulling 600 megs on the dedicated GPU, and the shared GPU, it's pulling 100. Right here. So it's only running 7. See where it says total of 7.7? It's the 6 plus 1. It's sharing 6 plus 1, giving it 7. So that tells you the total of your RAM right there is 43.9 gigabytes. So, you know, this thing of the 12 gigabyte issue, I think what it is, it's Microsoft has a little bit of an issue. I want y'all to understand that. Now, this is Windows 10. This is not Windows 11 yet. But I think Microsoft has an issue with sharing the video RAM, the VRAM, with, you know, regular RAM to the VRAM and attaching it for the GPU, the discrete GPU. Now, I think it might be something in the scheduling on Windows 11 that might be causing the problem with the graphics card. So just keep in mind a couple things. One, you got to keep this in mind. Okay, now and this is going to be the thing, if you go to your graphics settings, make sure you see where it says hardware accelerated GPU scheduling. You go down to the little search box that's down at the bottom, like right, down at the bottom, and you type in graphics settings right here in that little search box. Go to graphics settings where it says hardware acceleration, GPU scheduling, turn it on. That's going to help you out a lot. That's going to give you a little bit more oomph to what you need to do. I'm not crazy. I had this off the whole time earlier today when I was running my test, and then now I have it on and running these tests. So, and this is what it's giving me. So, as you can see, look at this line right here on Furmark. See how far it's gotten? Look at my temperature. It's only up to 131 degrees Fahrenheit. That's 55 degrees Celsius. 55 degrees Celsius. I wanted you all to see this because this is what you needed to see. You needed to see the full test. So I'm going to let this test run all the way out on Furmark. And once it's done, then after that, I'll come back to you all with my conclusion to this and what I think that you should do, and you know, my basically my final thought. So this test I've been running for quite a while now. Quite a while. And it's still stable. It's firmware's still staying stable. Tropics is still staying stable. Both of them are running stable. Now the megahertz, they're staying in between 2910 megahertz on the GPU and 2955 megahertz on the GPU. So I see it flicker on and off, back and forth a little bit here and there. That could be that it's just clocking back a little bit, but it's still staying stable. As far as I can see, it's staying stable. So, and it looks like firmware is almost at the end. See, now, I really think that, you know, this is going to run really well for me. I don't think I need to clock it up any more than it is. I really don't. I think I can leave it running just the way it is. In truth and reality. So, I told you all I was going to do another little clocking experiment with this this Asus Dual RTX 4070. I've done it. Here it is. And it looks like it's at 56 and stable. So, okay, we'll go ahead and we'll get done with this. We'll go ahead and get done with this. And we'll minimize this. And I'll bring you back when I get my face back onto the camera. So do stand by and we'll be right back. And I'm back just like that. 1 to 2 seconds later, got my face right back up on the screen. Alright. Okay, listen up. Y'all wanted some serious testing, right? I gave you some serious testing. Okay. Now, I'm going to run more tests on this because I want to see exactly what this is going to do from A to Z. I want to make sure it's not going to collapse on me. I want to make sure it's going to run hardcore every time I play a game with nothing, no hiccups, no, whatever you would think from the bottom to the top line. Okay? From what I've seen, that the only hiccup I've seen was a little bit of well, I do apologize. I was looking at something real quick. I was checking the performance. I wanted to see if there's something I was missing. You know, I was checking the performance. Because for some reason something didn't look right. So, yes, I'm always doing checks. I'm always looking. I am always looking to see if there's any issues. So, Looks like something's still pulling on the processor. I'll be right back. Okay, I had to turn that light off really quick because I could see that, it was kind of drowning me out back there. So, let's see if I can get this set. Oh, that looks good. Okay. All in all, if you guys want to know my recommendation, if Nvidia comes down in the price of the RTX 4070, I think it's well worth it. To me, I think it's well worth it for the simple fact that I've been running this for 2 days straight, hardcoring it, seeing how it's going to run and everything else. It plays games awesome. My last video I just did, you can see what was going on in the video. I mean, it was playing it awesome. So, in my opinion, I think it's going to be a good addition to whatever you're going to be doing. When it comes to running with a graphics card, it's going to be a good addition. So if you're looking to get a graphics card, let's say you got you don't have integrated graphics. Let's say you don't have integrated graphics, and you have a little bit of an older system, and you've been wanting to save up, to get yourself a decent graphics card. Okay. Well, I mean, you can always do the AMD 6950 XT. That's got a little more horsepower than this one. But when it comes to being able to do like creator work and do gaming and stuff like that all in one, I think the 40 series from Nvidia is a better way to go in my books. I was skeptical about getting this card, truthfully. I was skeptical that it wasn't going to play nice. That it was going to take and it's going to be one of those kind of cards I got to send back and get my money back on it. Those kind of cards. But the thing is this. It's impressed me. I mean, there's not too many video cards out there that really impress me. Yeah, I could have went the cheap way and got me a $200 one. But I want one that's going to last me for 4 to 5 years for video editing and playing a little bit of games. This is the way to go. But if you got more than, $600 to spend on a graphics card, let's say you just want to go all out, balls to the wall, okay? And you want to spend $2,000 on a graphics card. Don't do it. I mean, to get the 4090, the RTX 4090 for either $1,600 or $2,500 in between there, to spend that kind of money, you're best off, if you're going to do something like that, go and look for open boxes. Go to your big box store. You can either go look at Micro Center, go look at Best Buy, go look at all of them. See if you can find an open box of a 4090. See if you can get a cut down price. At least get something down to where it's reasonable to your price range. If you're going to do the 4090. This is just my opinion. It's not the opinion of 5 billion people that are out there. It's just one opinion out of 5 billion. So, and as far as the 4080, it's kind of like one half of the 4090, but at a $1,200 price point, $12 to $14, $1,600 price point. The 4080 is not really worth the $1,200. Okay, now if you can get it down to like 990, you can get it down to 999 or 899, $900, then yeah, price to performance, it'll be there at $900. Okay, it'll definitely beat the RX 7900 XTX in price if it's brought down to $899, because the 4080 is a 20 gigabyte card. Is it 20 gigabyte or is it 16? Could be somewhere in there. But if it's 16, then 899 is more sufficient. But with the 7900 XTX has more VRAM, VRAM is not the total all end when it comes to buying a graphics card. You can still buy yourself an 8 gigabyte graphics card, share a little bit of the RAM with your system, and still be able to play awesome games, depending on what you're going to play. Did I do anything to alter my VRAM? To share RAM with the GPU? No, I didn't alter anything. That comes equipped like that with Windows. Windows 10 comes equipped like that to share a little bit of the RAM with the discrete graphics card. See, me running integrated graphics, it shared all of the RAM from the PC to the integrated graphics. Now, with me putting 64 gigs of RAM in there, I noticed when I did that, I was running 16 gigs. I was able, believe it or not, to go into the BIOS for the integrated graphics and max it out and dedicate 8 gigabytes of RAM to the integrated graphics. Now, with me having 64 gigs, I can dedicate 16 gigabytes of RAM to the integrated graphics. 16 gigs. So if I need 16 gigs, all I got to do is unplug the discrete graphics card and run off of my integrated graphics if I need 16 gigs of RAM. You see my point? So either way I look at it, I have one way I can get 16 gigs of RAM. I have another way I can get more than 16 gigs of RAM. So either way I look at it, I don't have to worry about the games. Playing any of the games, is because I have enough GPU horsepower to play any games that's on the market today. Any games that are on the market today. So I think I got a good deal with the Asus, and I'm going to tell you all like this. Okay, when it comes to the Asus saga, okay, companies make mistakes. They correct their mistakes. So at least they corrected it within 1 week time of what they had going on. At least they didn't let it go for 2 to 3 to 4 months and then correct it. At least they did it within a week's time. So give them the props up for that. Give them the props for fixing what they said. Okay? And don't judge a book by its cover, because anybody can say anything in this world and it's going to offend you no matter what they say. So if you're that offended by what somebody else said, then do yourself a favor, then walk away. If you don't want to hear it, then walk away. That's the best thing to do. Now, I'm telling you this from my professional and my personal sense. I'm not judging anything on Asus. Why everybody's hanging up their hats on Asus. They're, throwing a little bit of bad bones at Asus. I'm not going to do that. While everybody was throwing bad bones at AMD, saying AMD was shit, now everybody's doing that to Asus and saying Asus is shit. Okay? Now, what are they going to do next? They already say, well, Nvidia has too high of a price. You know what? I'm going to boycott, Nvidia. It comes down to it all. Nobody's doing nothing. It's all talk. Okay? Everybody's just talking out the side of their neck. And that's one thing I'm going to get clear with y'all. You keep talking out the side of your neck, and then people are going to start to wonder about what you're talking about. Why are you doing this? Why are you going after a company that's been rocking for many years? I don't have problem with Asus products. Everybody else seems to have a problem with Asus products. It's, an enthusiast. Don't get me wrong. I'm an enthusiast myself, but when you start throwing them bad bones out there and start critiquing companies, you think they're going to appreciate you? They're not going to appreciate you critiquing them. If there's a problem with your stuff, then talk about it and say, hey, this is what you can do to fix the problem. All I see is this is what the problem is, and this is what they're doing, and they ain't doing nothing about it. Okay? You're telling them what the problem is, but you don't tell them how to fix the problem. What you would do to fix the problem. That's what I hear. It's the blame game. Pointing fingers. Pointing fingers. Stop pointing fingers. The company made bad. They had a bad thing. Look, AMD did it. Nvidia did it. You rarely hear anything about Gigabyte. You rarely hear anything about MSI. You rarely hear about, why do you think EVGA walked away from the graphics card scene? It's because of all this drama. This is drama. This is drama time. Drama world. And everybody's throwing their hat in the ring and saying, I'm feeding the drama. I'm feeding the drama. You're feeding nothing but other people's responses. Okay? Stop feeding the fire. If you want something fixed, then say, hey, this is what you can do to fix it. Find where the problem is, lower it, and then, fix the problem. There's these big box stores and everything else. They're having a hard time. It's because everybody's throwing all this juju out there, bad juju. And who's suffering? The big box stores. You want to know why they're suffering? Because they're taking in all these RMAs. Everybody's spooked. They get spooked and they're running. Other than waiting to find out how to fix the issue, or basically asking them what they're going to do to fix it, or if they got the right driver software or the right BIOS software to fix the problem, sit tight. Ask them, when are you going to fix the BIOS on the motherboard? You asked them, are you going to fix the BIOS on the motherboard? Yes or no? That's one question. Are you going to fix it? Yes or no? If you're not going to fix it, then I'm going to return it, and then I'm going to go get something from MSI or go get something from somewhere else. Gigabyte's having the same problem with that. And you know what? I watch everybody else's reviews as well. All the reviewers that are out here in the PC world, I watch all your videos. Everybody. Just to let you know that. The reason why I watch it is because you guys give sources of information. Okay? I do online checking for sources of information. I go all around the place looking for information. But the one information I can see right now is that, somebody in Asus company made a mistake, and now they're correcting it. So it's the end of story. I don't see anybody going after Gigabyte having the same issue Asus is having. Now, that's where you all need to start looking at what's going on in the real world. You're going after one company, but you're not looking at what the other company is doing. Okay. Asus had the same problem. Asus got the same problem. Gigabyte's got the same problem. MSI's got the same problem. Many motherboard manufacturers got the same problem. And you know where the problem stems from? Is because nobody listened to AMD when they said this is the limit. Or if AMD ever put a limit on there. See, that's what it comes to another conclusion. Did AMD put a limit on something, or didn't they put a limit on something? We don't know. We're not there. We can't judge everybody. We're not there. We didn't see anything. We didn't hear anything between these main manufacturers and these board partners. We didn't hear anything because we're not there. Okay, we're assuming this happened. And I'll tell you something, I'm not assuming crap. I see it as it unfolds. And when it unfolds, and everybody's done run away from this one company that's done made good all these years with all these reviewers, and these reviewers starting to run away from them, in truth and reality, how much money did that come out of Asus that supported a lot of channels out here? Okay, so you're just going to jump ship because of one little screw up. I don't get it. I would love Asus to be, one of my sponsors. So, take it as you will. And if y'all hate me because of that, then hate me because of that. And I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to run away from, these companies because somebody says, oh, we got a problem. It's just like everybody didn't run away from Nvidia when their GPUs started catching fire. Come on. Really? It's like no one ran away from AMD when their graphics card, their 7900 XTX, didn't meet up to the expectations. And everybody wants to run away from Asus because of one thing? Really? Come on. If you got your money on the line, then you don't want to, spend that kind of money. Then RMA your crap back to the company. Okay? Just RMA it back to the company and do yourself a favor. Don't make the drama about it. Just RMA it back to the company if you don't want their product. Because I'm guaranteeing they'll take that product, they'll turn it back out to somebody else, and there'll be somebody out there that wants it. So everybody wants to jump ship with Asus. I'm not jumping ship. I'm not jumping ship with Gigabyte. I'm not jumping ship with MSI. I'm not jumping ship with EVGA and so on. I'm not jumping ship with none of these companies. If they want me to, showcase their stuff, I'm going to showcase it. And I'm going to tell them if it's good or bad. And so far, Nvidia, I was not a fanboy of Nvidia. Not whatsoever. I was purely on the AMD team. I want a little bit of both worlds. I want a little bit of AMD and I want a little bit of Nvidia. And Intel too. So, I'm going to be looking into getting an ARC GPU and, a motherboard from one of the motherboard manufacturers. And I'm going to go Intel processor. and I'm going to do this build I told you all about that I've been wanting to do. It's going to be done sooner or later, so you all stick around for that. So this is my 20 minutes of rant over the fact of everybody, talking crap about a company, that everybody sits there and talks crap about every company that's out there. Do you really think those companies are going to respect you when you're talking all this smack? Okay, if there's a problem with the product, then say there's a problem with the product and say how you would fix it in your light, and maybe they would take it in consideration and maybe give it a shot and try to fix it that way. And if it works, then they give you the credit. What's the big deal? I've been building computers ever since 86. So, this is nothing new. I've seen this every year since 86 to now. Everybody talking the same smack, different day, different dollar, whatever. Okay. Yeah, there's some prices I don't agree with on some of the parts for PC, but that's the price I disagree with, not the product. That's where y'all gotta get it right. I'm not disagreeing with the product, I'm disagreeing with the price of the product. Okay? And if it was me, I'm telling them what I would do and what I would price it out as, because that's would be reasonable. Okay? But that's just me. That's how I price things out. So, I'm not going to make this a long video, y'all. I know y'all been listening to my rant, and I do apologize for it. I just had to get this off my chest because it seems like every time I hear a rant about a company, everybody just falls in line. Well, I'm not going to fall in line. I'm going to say it for what it is. I'm going to say it the way I see it. Okay? It's just like everybody talking about the new RTX 4060 Ti, that, it's not going to be worth it and this and that. You're probably going to be right, it's not going to be worth it. Okay? For $100 more, you get 16 gigs. Okay, so, yeah, I can see your point there. Now, the reason why is you go from 8 gigs to 16 gigs, that should only have been like a about $40 hike. It shouldn't have been a $100 hike. It should have been a $40 hike. Okay? It should have been like $440, $450. Not going from $399 to $499. It should only hiked it up $50. Because if you go looking for RAM for a PC, DDR4, it's only going to go up. For 8 gigs, only going to go up between $30 and $50. So if you're trying to measure it like that, and if you're trying to measure it in the sense of an integrated graphic, yeah, that would make more sense to go up like that than it would be to just jack it up $100. But you got manufacturing costs too. They could probably jump another $50 onto it to make it 100 more. Instead of 8 gigs, putting 16 gigs on it. But the only thing is, no one's going to really, well, they're probably going to buy it and they're going to have problems with it. But 128-bit bus, I don't think it's going to handle all 16 gigabytes. I don't think it's going to handle it right. That's just my opinion. So, when you go to get the 4060 Ti with 16 gigs, do your math. 128-bit bus. I don't think the 128-bit bus is going to handle double the draw power on it. I really don't. So, y'all do your math on that very carefully. 8 gigabytes is one thing, but if they wanted to put 16 gigs on that card, they should have went to a 256-bit bus Instead of 128, they should have went to 256. Would have been smart. But, you know, that's their business. You know, if you want to buy their business, then you buy their business. But to me, I'm not going to get the 40. I might get it. You never know. If you know, if somebody donates it to the channel, I'll test it out. I'll check it out and everything else, you know, see what's going on with it, you know, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, I'm going to get up out of here. If you like the video, make sure you subscribe. We're working towards 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. So, and thank you for everybody that has subscribed, and welcome all the new subscribers. Welcome to the family. So until the next time in the next video, this is JJ on JJ's PC Build. We will see you on the next one.